Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gon' talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I'm your host, Deanna Kent, sitting here with my gracious co-host, Xavier Miller.
What up, what up, what up? What's good, people?
What's up? How you doing today, Zay? It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's great to have you on the show.
I know, I've been out for a while, but it's great to be back in the studio, especially with such a special guest. But before we get started, you guys, please make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, rate the show, leave a comment, leave us some helpful feedback, some things you guys want to see on the show. We truly, truly appreciate it. And definitely make sure you subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 followers on YouTube, so let's get that up. So, getting into today's show, we have an amazing guest with us. She's a special friend, and she's doing some amazing things in the digital space as far as marketing, branding, all that good stuff. Her name is Renee. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on the show.
we've been waiting to get this done for, what's it been?
It's been like a month?
Yeah.
Over a month?
It's been over a month,
honestly,
I think.
I DM'd you like months ago. It's been a while.
Yeah, because she was like, when you're in Texas, and I was like, cool. And I hadn't even ever been to Dallas at the time, so I'm glad I'm here.
Got you here.
I'm glad I'm here.
Thank you for coming on the show. So to give the people a little bit of background for those who may not know you, just let us know about yourself and how you got started on your journey.
Man, that's like a whole
That's
podcast
an
episode.
question.
But
It's a whole podcast episode.
a little bit about me on the online space. I go by Helpful Digital Marketer. So that's the business that didn't fail. So that's great. I started this business when did we incorporate? I guess we'll do two things. We incorporated the business in 2018. I don't think I started working in the business until like 2019. Okay. So, but yeah, Helpful Digital Marketer was like the one that didn't fail. I think I had like 4 businesses that did fail before that. So it's exciting. But yeah, I basically help businesses learn how to increase their sales, their profits with Facebook and Instagram ads. That's like my whole thing.
And it's like the way they run ads, it's like with the algorithm, it's like things is always changing. Like how to get a successful rate. So like what's your it's pretty much
Dude, you asking for the secret sauce?
No.
He like straight out the gate.
Hey, I get straight to the point.
Tell me how to do it.
I'm not like a small
Give it to him in the first 5 minutes.
I'm not a small talker.
Right.
I like get straight to the point. So like pretty much like how y'all right, y'all get what I'm getting at. Pretty much.
Man, you know what? I think what I feel like you're asking me, I think like the quickest way to figure out what does work, I think this is in life too, is figure out what doesn't work.
Right.
And once you lose enough money in ads, you quickly find out what doesn't work. And so when I first started ads, I think I lost like 15K quick, boom. Because I went in confident, which a lot of people do. I think they're like, oh, it's just, we're going to put a budget up. We're going to go in. All we need is traffic on the website. Then the sales going to go crazy. We're going to be millionaires.
Right.
So I had this mindset going in when I first started. This was years ago. And I remember spending money. Then you think, oh, maybe I should just double the spend. And that's what I'm missing. I should spend more money. No, that's not what you're missing. But I would say that I failed my way into being successful. And now I feel my mission is to help to alleviate pressure and, of course, wasting your money.
Right.
And that's why I kind of preach so much on Instagram of like, stay away from this. This is not what I'm telling you because it's like cute. I wasted my money. I'm trying to save you.
Yes.
So...
About that 15K, how long was that time period? Like a span of months?
It was a couple months. Maybe we were probably running. It had to be like maybe in the span of like 3 to 6 months.
Oh, that's a short time.
Yeah. It was like 3 to 6 months, and we just kept going and going and going. And at the time, I just didn't know where to get the answers. Like I had been exposed to Facebook ads because I went to a conference. But I didn't have like a deep understanding. I was really learning as I tested and spent money. So once I did figure out what worked and I really I put enough time and money to really navigate the space, then you just don't do that anymore. It's like, okay, well, we found out that doesn't work, so we're not going to do that anymore. But it took a lot of money, and it took a lot of time.
So for the people that's listening that may be entrepreneurs, why is this important? Facebook ads, Instagram ads, why is that important for them?
I mean, at the end of the day, this is what I always tell business owners. You're in business to, because it's your purpose, you want to make, a difference, but you also want to make money. And I think a lot of the times people go in and they have like this vision, but they don't really have a strategy on how they're going to consistently bring in revenue. And so like marketing is huge. You have to stay relevant. You have to stay in front of your audience. You have to stay in front of a new audience. And so, with the algorithm, I'm always like, it's trash. Listen. You praying Instagram don't play you today. You're hoping your post reaches your audience. I don't like to leave it to chance. I like to have a strategy where I'm like, we're going in, eyes are on us. I have my ads on. I don't need to post 3 to 5 times a day to know that we're going to hit our goals. And so for me, I like to just preach like flexibility. You know that your ads are running 24/7 with or without you being online. And I have like peace knowing I'm going to sleep. You're going to see me. You've been on my website, you're going to start seeing my ads. You've been on my Instagram, you're going to start seeing my ads. It's a system that I have set up, and I think giving that to business owners empowers them too to know like my marketing is working for me. I'm constantly relevant, and I can make some money. So it's just a powerful tool that I think that everybody should be doing with their business.
I agree. When you think people should start running ads for their business, do you think that out day one, or should they start turning some profits first? Like, what do you think about that?
I think the best time to start running ads for your business, so there's a couple things. It depends on what you want to do. So some people, like say you haven't launched something yet, but you are building, say you're about to build up the launch for a website, you should start running ads to a wait list to get an audience. A lot of times people are dropping, and I see a lot of business owners do that. They think that they can just drop something out of the blue like they're Beyonce. You can't. You have to build momentum. And so with ads, it's like it works in so many different ways. I think the first thing you need to do as a business owner is define your objective. What are you trying to do at this moment with your business? Are you trying to get eyes on your business? Build a wait list. Just literally run ads to get people interested in your product or your service. If you are already at a point where your product or service is booming, and you're like, listen, if we like double down on our traffic, we can like triple our profits. Then you know that your objective now is to get more traffic in so that your conversion will increase. And if you're booked out, right? Again, that's why it goes back to what's your objective. If you're booked out, no, you don't need to be running ads. If you can't service any more people, it's not time to run ads right now. And so I think you have to assess where your business is, like what are your needs? And then create a strategy on how ads can help you get there. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a master class, right? I was like,
I
thought we were going to start with my live. You're like, no, we want the ads, baby. We want the ads. Okay.
Hey, we gotta get straight to it. We gonna get back to all that stuff.
No, I love it. I love talking about this stuff. I'm like, listen, I love it.
So I want to ask you, what platform would you say has the best algorithm per se? Would you say like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter? Like, where would you say you could see the best results? Or does it depend on your strategy?
It depends on the business and the niche and the consistency of the business owner. Like, I've seen people pop on Twitter. I've seen people pop on YouTube. I've seen people pop on TikTok. Like for me, it's more about where are you going to be consistent? Because at the end of the day, right, I tell people focus on building a community. Where can you be consistent and where can you build a community? If you're not going to consistently post videos, I wouldn't recommend TikTok or YouTube. If you gonna be the one to type and you always have like something to share, get on Twitter, run it up. Like you just have to find, if you don't even want to do that and you just want to post, go on Pinterest. Like there's so many ways to win. I talk about this so much. There's so many ways to win, but I would say wherever you can be consistent, right? And then leverage that to lead people into something that you own, like your email list or your text list. You can leverage that data because data is really what it is. Data is key. You can leverage that data from any platform to help you when you are ready to run ads. And that's not even like just Instagram, Facebook ads, that's YouTube ads, TikTok ads, Twitter ads, like wherever you want, to get additional reach. But I would say, whatever platform you could be consistent on, you should really stick to that. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's scale it back a little bit. So for people,
Masterclass.
we gotta let
Now
people,
you want to scale
right?
back.
We gotta let the people know who you is, what you do. You know that you're really the truth. Now we can scale it back a little bit. So just for the people who may not be familiar with you, like where you from, like how you came up, or like how you even get into all this stuff that you're into now.
That's a good question. So I'm from Delaware. I'm one of
What?
7 kids.
Hold on, I thought you was from Atlanta this whole time.
Oh
She said
no,
she was from Delaware
I've been in
last
Atlanta like 11 months.
What the? I mean,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Let
I don't think he was around when we had that conversation.
Yeah, so we had like a heart to heart. Like I was like, "Girl, this is my life," and she was like, "Who are you?" And I was
Delaware.
We
like,
got to know each other last.
I thought you was from Atlanta this whole damn time.
No, so
I've been telling people,
that's
like, yeah,
another
she's from
whole
Atlanta.
story. Like Atlanta's a whole nother story. I've only been there 11 months, which is
okay.
kind of, I haven't even been there a year. This
Okay.
month will make it a year. But no, I
Damn.
grew up in Delaware. Fun fact, Black History Month fact. In 2015, I became the first African American Miss Delaware USA, and then I made history and placed at Miss USA in 2015.
Look, he look like he ain't know
Hold on,
none of
we
this.
got Miss Delaware USA on the show.
Yes,
What the hell?
yes.
We got land with that, man.
This man didn't read the brief.
Hey, don't expose yourself.
Hey, we
No,
could have land with that. You know what I'm
fun fact,
saying?
and y'all can Google. I hate to even say
She
this. It
got
sounds crazy,
pictures.
but you can Google this. It's a fun fact. There literally, I was the first Black woman from my state. So I love my state, Delaware. That's where I'm from. When I was after Miss USA, that's when I moved to New York and I became a flight attendant.
Okay.
So I was flying for like a couple years, and that sort of is what pushed me into entrepreneurship because I hated being a flight attendant. And like I said about ads, same as life, you quickly find out what you want to do by finding out what you don't want to do. Right? And I was like, dang, I thought I wanted to be a flight attendant. When I became a flight attendant, I thought like that was going to be what I was going to do. Like you could not tell me nothing. And I was like, yeah, I hate this. And I was super depressed. And I just remember going home. And I was living with my brother Josh at the time. Shout out to you, Josh. I was literally living in his closet because New York went crazy. So I was like, can I just stay with you? He had like a 1-bedroom. I was living in his closet. It was crazy. And at the time, I came home and I was like, yeah, I think I'm finna quit because like I hate everything. And he was like, finally. And I quit my job. This was like 2018 maybe. And I just remember promising myself like even if it took 5 years, I would figure out how to figure it out. Like I had no plan. This is not advice to anybody listening. Do not do this. But I had no plan. I had no savings. And I just told my family, like, I'm going to figure it out. I just felt like there was more for me. And at the time, I just knew I wanted to be around people who had like that same mindset of faith because I was really walking on faith. I had nothing. But I went to a conference, and at the conference, I went by myself, and at the conference, I literally prayed. I was like, the next person I meet, like, let it be like a divine connection. Like, I was like, please. And this guy came up to me. He was like, oh, your pants are cool. Like, I'm about to teach a session. You should come. And I was like, cool. In the session, he talked about Facebook ads, and he was doing like 6 figures a month. And this was like the first time I ever heard of anyone making money online. Mind you, I'm broke. I'm like, bro, you talking about you making 6 figures online from a laptop? And that was like the seed that started everything. But I think the faith came from, like, my father's an entrepreneur. So I've seen people work for themselves. He's done insurance, he's done real estate. I just didn't feel like that was for me. So I think that, like, I always knew that entrepreneurship was possible. I just didn't feel like it was possible for me until I went to that conference, and then like everything kind of just changed after that.
So what got you to from Delaware, New York to Atlanta?
Oh man. So then so in between Atlanta and New York, I moved to Hawaii. So
No, I think I knew this. I think I heard you say this.
After I went to the conference, that's when I started my business. And then I have, like I told you, I'm one of 7. So one of my other brothers was in the military at the time. He retired. Shout out to Jeremiah. Bull Fitness online. But I was telling him like social media strategies, just stuff that I was like, yo, I think this will work. And he started doing it. And he was like, it's working. Like, what you're telling me to do is working. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Of course it is, because I am a mastermind. At the time, it was just like me doing research and like learning. And I was like, I had taken a course, and I was like, man, this is working cool. I was like, well, what if I like come to Hawaii and like work on your business with you full time? Because I was still trying to find my way. Like I hadn't really solidified what it was I was doing. Like I incorporated my business, as many people probably do, and then I just didn't do, like I didn't know what to do next. It was just like, I got an LLC.
Right.
And that was it. So I was like, what if I come to Hawaii and just like work on your business full time? Like I'll do strategy. And he was like, nah, like you're not coming here. And I was like, cool. And I feel like God was just like, just wait. And I was like, all right, cool. Because I feel like I'm very like much like a believer in God. So a lot of this probably won't make sense to people, but I just have faith in the steps that I just felt like my steps were ordered. So he literally, like a couple weeks later, my brother calls me back. He's like, this rent is crazy. I'm about to buy a condo. It's a 2-bedroom. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, you about to buy a condo? And I didn't say nothing. And then like a little bit more time came. He was like, nah, the stuff you're telling me to do really working. Like, I was like, so what you, I mean, you got a 2-bedroom.
Say the word.
He was like, all right, come. So I bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii. And literally as soon as I touched down, we were like filming, doing like, I was running ads for him. Like we became the biggest personal trainers in Oahu where we were, because I was running ads. Like he would go out, people would be like, oh, you're Bullet Fitness. Like I see your ads all the time. So I'm like, oh, like I really know what I'm doing. This was over a matter of like a year. So a year, I'm just going hard on his business, like going crazy. We run it up on the island. Everybody's like, his boot camps are sold out. Everything's going really well. So I'm like, dang, I really know what I'm doing. And now I think that gave me the confidence to really go 100% with Helpful Digital Marketing. And then when COVID hit, that's when I had to leave Hawaii because they shut the island down. So I told my brother, like, for my mental health, I got to go. Like, I couldn't even leave the house. Like, you couldn't be outside unless you were like an essential worker or in the military. I was neither. So I was in the house for like days. I felt like I was going crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to go back home. And then once I moved back home, that's when I really like doubled down in my business, and everything just blew up from there. Like from my move home, mind you, I had to move back home with my parents. So I was living in my parents' basement, and that's literally like just grinding. I was like, I'm going to work my way out of the basement. I left all my stuff in Hawaii, and I told my mom and dad, I just need a little bit of time. My dad told me to go get a job, and I was like, trust me, I need a little bit more time. Like maybe 90 days later after moving in, probably less than that, I had my first 10K week in their basement. We're working on a desk. I mean, working on a table, that was my desk. I've never had a desk, but working on a table, that was my desk. I had a 10K week in their basement. I'm showing my dad like the payments coming in on Stripe. He's like, that's real? I'm like, yeah. Because, you know, my dad, brick and mortar, he has a business, but he don't make money online. He's like, give me the cash. He's like that guy. I'm like, no, they buying my stuff online. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah, they buying it for real. And then after I hit that week, I was like, I need to go somewhere where I can really like just be, I don't know, I just needed to go in a space that I knew I could flourish in. And I just felt like Atlanta made sense. Again, bought a one-way to go out there. My girlfriend was like, stay at my place. As soon as I got there, I said, I'm moving here. It just you know, your steps are ordered. And so I always tell like big risk, big reward. And so, you know, I've just not been afraid to try things and lose and fail and then figure it out. And so like that's kind of, I don't even know what the question was, but that's kind of, you know, how I got to Atlanta.
Yeah, you got to Atlanta. Yep, just your
How
journey.
old were you when you went back to your parents' house?
That was 2019. That was the end of 2019. So I was, dang, how old am I now? I'm about to turn 29. I'm 28. So I was 26.
So 26.
I was 26.
And you know, most people around that age, they feel like once they move out, they will never double back. They will never go back to their parents. They feel like, no, I can't do that. I got to do X, Y, and Z. But it's like, dude, like, it's nothing wrong with going back. If you have that opportunity, go back, do what you got to do, stack some money, break off your parents. But that can really help put you in position.
Yeah, I think like for me, I needed that time. I just needed more time. And I think that people just need to give themselves more time. And I knew that, like, I just knew I was onto something. Like, I don't know. Like, you just have this feeling of like, nah, man, we close. Like, and I just had that feeling. I remember telling my mom, she was like, cool. My dad was like, get a job. I was like, no, just give me a little bit more time. And then, you know, I was right, but
Yeah, he was right for sure.
I just didn't have. I don't know. For me, pride is not a thing. Like I just feel like once I have faith in something, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to do it.
But speaking of time though, but how much time is too much time?
I would say I don't even think it's about time. I had this conversation with my sister about and not to contradict what I just said, but I think more important than time is to really assess your progress, right? I think that and especially because where I am in my business, according to time, right? When we talk about statistics of businesses failing in their first 5 years,
That's all right.
time was not on my side. And so what really I think was more important than time is the progress that I was making in the business, because I had figured out a strategy and it was a repeatable process. I knew that I was making progress far ahead of what time would have allowed for me, right? Like I feel like the things that I'm doing, the features that I get, like the things that are happening in my business doesn't make sense for somebody who's been in the game for less than 5 years. It just doesn't. But the progress that I've made because of the decisions I've been intentional to go after, and whether it's like education, the right coaches, practicing, doing the work, right? And then once I assess the progress of this is where we were 6 months ago, and based on our KPIs, key performance indicators, we're progressing at such a rapid pace that like, yeah, it might have been a short period of time, but I know that I have enough progress to keep going. And so with people who maybe have given something so much time and they're like, I feel like if I just keep giving it more time, it'll pay off. It might, but assess the progress. Are you in a different position than last year? Have you been doing the same thing for the last 3 years? Like you got to really have an honest conversation with yourself. And that's where I was with my other businesses. I was selling hair, y'all, and I was failing. Okay, why do they make us think we can sell hair?
I don't know. They make it look so easy.
Okay, they do. I was failing. I had bought $5,000 of product. Again, making decisions out of desperation and thinking that in time it will all pay off.
Right.
However, looking at our KPIs, the numbers were zero income. Okay. Right. And so we have to assess then our progress. Are we making progress? We're not. Let's cut it. Right. Let's focus on what we're making progress. And at the time I was making progress with Helpful Digital Marketer. And so when people are like, how did you decide? Baby, I looked at the progress. I'm not about to go into debt with the hair business and we out here doing the ads. Right. And I think you also have to be honest. It's like you have to be honest with yourself and really assess what's going on. I don't want to tell people I have a bunch of businesses, right? If they ain't all profitable. That does nothing for me.
Man, self-awareness though, it's funny because just yesterday, this girl, she was rapping and she seen me. She was like, "Hey, I rap. I'm sending this thing to Yo Gotti." For whatever reason, she just spotted me out. She felt like I was the guy to rap. So I don't know what she's saying to me. So she comes to me and she like rapping, and I'm like,
she
in my head,
in front of you?
She rapped in front of me. And she's like, "I got a 20-minute rap." I'm like, "All right,
20-minute rap is
crazy." So I'm like, she rapping. In my head, I'm like, this shit is trash. But I ain't want to say, I'm like, because I could tell she a little drunk, and I don't want to be like, so she looking at me, and she was like, what you think? I said, hey, that's hard. She said, you just tell
Zay, she a fan of the podcast. I'm sorry, sis. She watched the podcast.
She was talking to me so long, I'm thinking if I say it's hard, she gonna be like, all right, good looking, I'm out. She said, she looked at me dead in my eyes. She said, you just telling me that so I get out your face, ain't you? I said, no, that's hard. Send that to Gotti.
Double down?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
but
doubling down is crazy.
Nah, but my point was what I was trying to make was, how did you not know? I feel like anything I'm terrible at, I know I'm bad at it. Yeah. I got enough self-awareness to know like that's not for me. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that to somebody else, but I don't understand how people don't know. Cause I was like, ain't no way she don't know this shit ain't trash. She gonna see this and be like, damn. I just thought about it. She gonna see this and be like, that motherfucker lied to me.
He definitely lied.
But self-awareness, it's crazy to me how a lot of people lack it. But if you having it, I think that attributes to like a lot of your success. That's why you are where you are for real.
Yeah, I think for me, and I think you have to make decisions too. People don't want to make decisions. They want to let stuff play out. Like, oh, we'll just see. No, as soon as I'm done, I'm done. Like with jobs, oh yeah, we're not doing this no more, and I just quit. Now that's not always the greatest plan of action. Looking back,
Right.
I wish I would have done a lot of things smarter. But I will also say that it served me well because I just don't stay in situations in which I can't grow. And so when I put myself in positions where I'm like, we have to give it our all. And so with that being said, I think it's gotten me to this place, which is a blessing. I think I have discernment. I think the Holy Spirit helps a bunch, right? Of like, but I don't know. I just, yeah, self-awareness is tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, but I think that it's necessary, especially when you want to be great, right? Like, I mean, I think that's what I learned too, is like, I was running a lot because I was like doing photography, selling hair. At one point, I had like a bracelet, a custom bracelet business. It was just crazy.
See what's
like, everybody's like multiple streams, blah, blah, blah. Cool. But I think my biggest thing is I started to learn, like, I don't want to be good. I want to be great. And for me, I was like, what is the one thing? Like, I did this exercise because people ask me this question all the time. Like, how do you choose? Like, if you're good at everything, how do you choose? And I used to feel like that too. Like, I used to feel like I'm one of those people who are really just like can pick stuff up. So like, and then people encourage you, like, you should really do this with that. No, you shouldn't. No, you really shouldn't.
Be honest.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't, and don't start that hair business. No, I'm just kidding. But I think for me, I was doing photography at the time. This was in Hawaii. I was doing photography. I was doing ads. I was doing the hair business, and I was like, I want to be great. I don't know which one to choose, and I literally wrote out on a piece of paper the possibility of hitting literally the peak of each and everything I was doing. If I was the best photographer in the world, if I won all the awards for photography, if I shot Beyonce and all these superstars, would I be happy? What would my life look like? If I was the biggest hair vendor, like literally top hair, supplier, would I be happy? If I ran my agency and was helping businesses, would I want to wake up every day and do that? And I remember thinking about it for photography, and I was like, nah, even if I won all the awards, I still wouldn't be happy. That's not really like what I want to do every day. Same with hair. I was like, I don't really want to do this. I just thought I was going to make some money. Like, it's not really my purpose. And I remember thinking, if I can wake up every day and help people change their situation by just learning how to get their message out there with their business, just helping them reach more people, like, would I be able to do that every day? And I was like, yeah. And literally, I stopped doing everything else and went 100% with Helpful Digital Marketer, and everything changed for me after that.
I love
That's
it.
a gem.
I've never heard nobody like really look at it from that perspective, and that really like puts things like it changes things for me personally. But before we keep going, we're gonna run our first ad of the show.
This episode is also sponsored by The Morning Meetup. One thing all successful people have in common is strong connections. If you're trying to break into the entrepreneurial world, you're looking to network with like-minded individuals, or you're looking to take your business to the next level. Currently, entrepreneurs from all across the country meet up every morning for a daily meeting from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern to start the day off right. If you want to join this community, there's never been a better time to try it out, because for a limited time only, you can start a 7-day trial for just $1. If you're looking to get started with the Morning Meetup, you can go to www.themorningmeetup.com/$1 trial. And like as always, the link for that is in the description of this podcast episode.
But something I do want to get into real quick, because it's kind of already aligned with what we've been talking about. But honestly, before I really got into this space of entrepreneurship and really like got into the weeds of things, I never heard of anybody doing ads, having an ad agency and things. And it's a lot of things I've never heard of people doing. But I think that brings us to the point that success doesn't always look like what you think it looks like how we go back to the hair business. I've seen so many people being successful at hair. I thought that was success. I thought doing this was the route to being successful, but you found it in something so unique and so creative and at the perfect time in a space where everyone is starting online businesses and trying to grow. So I really want to kind of get your perspective on that. It's just like, you got to get creative with these things. It's not going to be always like textbook perfect, when you're starting a business.
You mean like as far as ads go, or just figuring out like what skill set you can kind of go
like
with?
what skill set, like what business you can start?
Yeah, I think like for me, I just wanted to figure out what my purpose was tied to. And I think that God knew, like, I would always want to, like I said, wake up in the morning and know that I could in some way, like, help someone. And if I can help you make more money, I'm so happy doing that. Like, I'm happy getting on calls and walking people through how to do that. But I think the biggest thing for me, when I went to that conference, it was a great conference, by the way, Build Your Own Brand, was the name of the conference. But Yvonne Orji was the keynote speaker, and she said something that sticks with me. She said exposure is the most powerful tool in the world. And it is, right? And so I think that, like, if you're at a point in your life where you're really trying to figure out what's your thing, you just need to start exposing yourself to more. That could look like traveling. It's COVID. If you don't want to travel, that could look like reading. That could look like getting on YouTube and just looking at how people are making money, right? Like, 5 years ago, I didn't know people were making money online. And so I think that the biggest thing is, like, and I wouldn't have known if I didn't go to that conference by myself. Like, what if I had not went because I was waiting for somebody to go with me?
Right.
You have to decide to put yourself in positions that might be uncomfortable, but it could be life-changing. And so for me, like, when I travel as a flight attendant, that's when I really learned, like, how exposure could really change your life. I had never flown in first class, but I'm serving people who fly in first class. I know how much these seats are. What do you do that you can just spend 20 bands on a Wednesday to fly first class on Delta? You know, like, it started to have me thinking, like, you know something I don't know. And I think that people have two decisions in life. You either get mad or you find out what you don't know. And my thing was, I just want to find out what I don't know. I'm not mad at all. Right? I want to fly up here too. And so I think, like, that's the biggest decision you have, is like, when you're not where you want to be, expose yourself to greater. When you do get to see greater, figure out what they know that you don't know. That's it.
That's a bar.
And then do the work. Right? Then do the work.
No, that's you talking that talk for real. And when it comes to ads though, is it best for, like, video, or is it best for picture,
Like photo.
or photo? And if video is best, is it important for it to be, like, extremely high quality, professional cameras, all that stuff?
I love this question. So I would say my biggest thing with ads, if we go into ad creatives, which is like picture ads, should you use video ads, should you use, GIFs? You should test everything, right? Because you never know what's going to perform better than the next thing. So I always tell my students in my programs and my courses, test video ads, test static ads, which are picture ads, test GIFs, test reels. You never know what's going to stick. I always recommend running video ads because I feel as though, especially if you're running to a cold audience, these are people who are not aware of you, it's easier to build trust if you're on camera, right? Because you could literally watch somebody and be like, oh no, I always see their videos. Like, I like the way they look, or I like the way they talk. It could be anything. Like, marketing, people decide what they like about you. It could be anything. Like, I just like your jacket. Right. I like her. People DM me all the time. Girl, I bought your course. I just think you fabulous. I like your lip gloss. I'm like, girl, whatever, do it for you. Welcome to the course, right? You never know what's gonna stick. As far as high quality, funny story, in Hawaii, when I was doing ads for my brother, we would put our heart into these ads. Like, we would literally go crazy, like spending hours editing these high grade ads. And they would do trash, like, as far as our KPIs were concerned, AKA they weren't bringing in any money. Then he would grab his phone and be like, listen, I'm out here training. Here's everybody at the boot camp, sign up. 15-second ad on the phone, go crazy. And so for me, with my ads, when I tell people, don't spend a whole lot of money on ads, because at the end of the day, I feel like the more authentic the ad, the more it's going to cause people to actually stop and listen to you. If it looks super perfect, if it's like a whole production, sometimes, especially depending on the niche in your audience, they're not going to feel connected to it. And so with people, when they start, I'm like, you don't need to hire a team. You got an iPhone, you can make an ad. All, like, the ad that literally brought me in over 100K last year when I was running ads, I filmed on an iPhone with no extra lights, and my sisters, they were living in Philly at the time, literally filmed it, just literally talking and telling people to stop boosting their posts on Instagram. It has like 300K views or something like that. We ran that all 2021.
Just that one video.
That one video. I mean, there's other ads, but that was my most profitable ad. Right. I've never had a team. When I teach my students, you don't need extra. That's not an extra expense. You're already going to be spending money on ads. So for me personally, I think you can really win, one, by knowing your audience, but two, by just constantly test new things. Always try video, always try static ads, always try GIFs, reels, and really read your data and see what's working best. What's working?
How long should you leave an ad up if it's not working?
If it's not, well, it depends on your objective, right? So defining what is working means is the first step. But I would say if you're not hitting your KPIs with your key performance indicators, an example of a key performance indicator as it pertains to like a Facebook and Instagram ad is, say we go back to the example of, I don't have a website launched yet, but I'm building a wait list. If it's costing you too much to get people to join your wait list, which in the world of ads is like a lead, if it's costing you too much per lead, you would cut that ad off and test a different angle. A different angle could look like changing your copy, which is like essentially the caption of the ad. Maybe it's not resonating. Maybe the actual creative that you're using, the video or the GIF or the picture, is not clear. I think I see a lot of ads all the time where I'm like, what are you selling? It's not, I'm confused, right? If your audience is confused, they're not going to take action. So at the end of the day, if you're not clear on what they need to see, I always say this, if you're not clear on what your audience needs to see, hear, and believe, you're not going to get the conversions that you want. That whether that looks like leads, whether that looks like sales, no matter what, if people are confused, they're not going to take action. And so I forgot the question, but I think I answered it.
You answered it. Yeah. And what's the this is another, because I remember I was talking about this, and what's the difference between like an actual ad and like on Instagram when they say like a boost post? What's the difference? Break that down. Oh my gosh.
I literally have dedicated my life's work to stopping people from wasting money. The biggest difference is you're wasting money. So the biggest difference is you can boost your post on Instagram. Most people,
because people think that's an ad,
are boosting their posts on Instagram. Instagram will make you believe that you're running ads. I'm here to. Is this camera on me?
Yes. Camera on.
That's stupid, guys. Stop. No, but seriously, stop boosting your posts. I have so many videos and reels, and I had a whole training on this. You're losing money because it's only giving you a fraction of the data and also the reach that you have in Facebook ads. So if you ever want to know if you're really running Facebook ads, you need to go to business.facebook.com and you need to set up a business account. If you're running ads on Instagram, chances are the data that you're getting is not going to a pixel, and your pixel is really what allows you to leverage your audience so that you can retarget individuals who have been on your website or seen your services or products. Boosting gives you a quick like, oh, you reach this many people, but are you really trying to reach people or are you trying to make sales? Right? Like they give you vanity metrics, and a lot of people don't know any better. So they feel like, oh, I just need to reach more people in order to make more money. And that's not true. That's not true. What you need to do is you have to get to a place where you have your Facebook pixel set up. Now it's going to be called a meta pixel. We just got this brief out from Facebook because, they changed it to meta. But we'll just use it interchangeably. But your meta pixel has to be on your website. If you've ever been to a website and you've looked at a product and then you go on Facebook or Instagram and you're like, dog, they're showing me ads for what I just looked at. They're tracking you with a pixel. Essentially, they're tracking the visitors so that they can then retarget you. You can't do that when you boost because, again, Instagram's only giving you vanity metrics. You only have that leverage, which your business needs, when you set your business account up on business.facebook.com. You can create an ad account. It's free. You can place your Facebook pixel. It's free. And then you can run ads from that account so that you can see all of your data. You can get really, really specific with who you want to see your ads, who you don't want to see your ads. And you can find the audience that's going to actually purchase from you. And so really, the biggest thing is you're leaving money on the table when you're boosting. You're not getting the proper data, and it's limiting you. And you just stop. Please.
Instagram, I want my money back.
Please
for all those
stop.
boosted posts.
People be boosting too. People be like, dang, I thought it was the same thing. I'm like, girl, where is the data? Instagram be like, you reached 30,000 people and you made no money.
No money.
Right? It's like, at least, the thing is too, on Facebook, when you run Facebook ads, you can choose essentially the objective that you want. And most times businesses want two things. You either want leads for your services so that they can book appointments so that you can, see how you can serve them, or you just want sales for your products. And you can't choose, like, Instagram will make you feel like you're choosing that, but you're not. You're just really choosing to expand your reach. But when it comes to ads, you're really telling Facebook to find people who have the behavior of purchasing online. And so that's how, when you go into Facebook, when you choose your objective, it's so important. Most people make the mistake of thinking, I just need more traffic to my website. That's why I'm not making sales. And what you're really telling Facebook is, find me people who just click and go on people's website. When you go on Facebook and tell them that you want more purchases, you're telling Facebook, show my ads to people who are known to purchase online. They have that data, so they know who's actually following through and making purchases online. And so that's why it's really important to understand, what is your actual objective? Be sure you're running ads at business.facebook.com and not boosting, and know how to read your data so you know if your ads are performing well or if you need to pivot, change things up so you can see better results.
That's a lot of game.
That's a lot of game.
Y'all might need to rewatch this video.
No, for real.
That's free game, for real.
Re-listen to this one. But yeah, if you don't take anything from this, stop boosting your posts. Like, just
that's
today.
free game. That's free game.
So
Yeah, stop.
I wanted to ask you, like, how do you recommend business owners or creators deal with the steadily increasing prices of ads? Because I know, like, the last few years, they've just been going up and up and up, and it seems like it's just on the uptrend. So, like, how would you manage that? Or should you get more strategic with your strategy?
I think the biggest thing that business owners need to do is double down on their organic marketing. I think that people think that ads, like, alleviates you from the responsibility to
Actually
market. It's supposed to work in addition to your organic marketing. And I think that because ads used to work so well, I mean, even before my time of coming into the game, like, people were getting, like, crazy results with, like, little to no ad spend. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have known about this like 10 years ago. But for me, I think that because I've always come into the game knowing, like, if you already are seeing results organically, putting your ads on is just that extra push. It doesn't alleviate you of or release you from the responsibility to show up and interact with your audience and talk to them. It's crazy. People got businesses, they think like they just don't. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. But yeah, you might have to get on live more. You might have to respond to DMs or have a team in place to do that. Like, people are getting tired of not feeling connected, and they're not going to be so quick to spend money if they don't have a connection. So you have to build community. And that's my biggest thing, is like, build community. Whether you want to do it on Discord, a Facebook group, get on your lives weekly, you need to have some sense of community where people know that they can expect to see you show up in some way consistently before you just ask them for their money, right? Like, what are you giving in order to receive? That's my biggest thing with marketing. Like, I give free trainings, I give free resources. And so with that, you're also building trust. And I think that ads are, I mean, depending on how you went about using your ads, they are expensive. But I know for me, for service-based businesses, if you're focused on lead generation, the results haven't changed that much. You know, like, they really haven't. One of my students, she's in my Leads to Profits program. She's a makeup artist. Actually, I think she's in Dallas. Shout out to Tamar. But she started my program. She was getting leads for like 46 cents. I was like, you're getting leads lower than me. Like, so I think, like, again, it really just depends on the need of your business, and you really having a plan for organic and then adding ads on top of that. Yeah.
Let's talk about Leads to Profits. What is that for the people that's listening?
Oh yeah, man, Leads to Profits is like my heart. So like we talked about earlier about, like, focusing on progress, focusing on, like, not thinking that time is going to either hold you back or also just give you what you think you deserve. So when I came into the game, I did feel a little late. Like I was like, dang, I'm just finding my way. Everybody making so much money. Everybody seems like they millionaires online. And so I feel like ads really helped get me out there, and it accelerated my growth because my reach, I was willing to invest so I could reach more people. And I really believed in the message of, making sure your business is not the most kept secret. And so like last year, I saw like the benefits of me believing in my business and believing in the work that I was doing. Shout out to everybody who does follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because we did some amazing things last year, featured on Honeybook and featured on T-Mobile, and just all these things that I just thought would take years to do. And people were just like, well, we were just finding you, or we just saw your ads. And so I really believe that the strategy that I was implementing for my business and other businesses was essentially evening the playing field. Is you don't have to wait your turn, create your turn, right? Of course, do the work, but like y'all gonna see me. I'm not waiting on the algorithm. Like I'm gonna put money into the ads. I'm gonna put money into these programs, into my courses, because I know it can help people. And so all of that is bottled into Leads to Profits, which essentially is a 6-week accelerator for service-based businesses that allows them to build their list with dream clients, which was touching base back to what I truly believe in is you have to build a community, right? I had 0 people on my email list 2 years ago. Now I have close to 10K. I'm focused on building a community. And so Leads to Profits helped you build your list with dream clients and increase your sales. And it teaches you how to use Instagram and Facebook ads to do that. And so if you're interested, you can apply at lead2profits.com. But yeah, it's just dope. I just think that it's really important to me because the program is something that helped change my life. It changed so many other people's lives, like the students in my program and family members, and I just think that it's awesome.
No, we know, we see, like, before we have, like, but typically before we have people on the show, well, I know at least in your case, we hear about them for a while, or people say, hey, y'all should have this person on, or I might see what they doing. I'm like, damn, that's dope. I keep my eye on everybody. I just be watching, like,
I'm so
I see
sorry, Daddy.
I see what they doing. I'm watching.
Right.
We gotta have them on. But I kept hearing about you from multiple people about
thank
how you
you.
help them and stuff like that. So
That's a blessing.
Yeah. So we know for sure you out here killing it. You really doing it. So
That's a blessing.
yeah,
That's a blessing.
the people that's watching, y'all go to
appreciate
leadstoprofit.com for sure. D, I see you want to say something.
Yeah, so something I want to ask you, kind of like, I feel like I've never gotten really a chance to ask anyone this on the show, but you're in a space where you're coaching people, and that's become like really popular lately. Like, people are coaching other people on their perspective fields, and I feel like, that's a space where people may need some advice or some instruction on at least like how to navigate that space, because it's still kind of new for people to just like jump into that teaching field. So for you, is there any advice you could give people out there who are stepping into that role?
Man, I don't even think I've stepped into that role. I don't even like to call myself a coach. I like to just say I'm an instructor. Like, I think my biggest thing is, I don't know, man. I don't even think about it like that. Like, that's a good question. What advice? I would say my biggest advice is, before even wanting to coach, is like, get results. So I think before I even put Leads to Profits out or my other courses out, is I did the work. And I think a lot of people are like quick to teach people what they learned yesterday.
Right.
I wanted like to have such a Rolodex of results. Like, I was like, it was to a point where other people were like, you need to help more people. Like, you're amazing. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like we should get more results. Like, I kind of was pushed to like, because I was so nervous. Like, okay, we did it for 5 people. Can we do it for 10? Okay, we did it for 10. Like, when is it time for me to feel like I can really teach more people? Some people don't have that problem at all. They're like, it hasn't even worked yet. Let's just coach. But that's another podcast. But I think for me, is like, if you are a person of integrity, as I am in the online space, that's hard to find. I think you can sometimes think that you have to get, millions and millions of positive reviews. But once you do start seeing results, I think that, and you have a repeatable process, I think that you should be in the position to helping others. And I think I was doing people a disservice by waiting as long as I did. And so I would say, like, I don't know if I have any advice because I don't think that everyone should be coaching. I thank God for the people that are coaching. But I do think that if you have a repeatable process, you have proven results, and you want to reach more people and help them possibly change their situation, you know, go at a pace that's comfortable for you. I start small. You have to apply to get into the program. It's not a money grab. This program works for specific businesses. That's why I have the application. I'm not going to take your money if I know I can't help you. It's all about integrity with me. Can I help you or can I? And if I can't help you, I'll point you in the direction of someone I feel like can help you. And so I think, like, if you look at it that way of, like, I just want to help the people I can with this information, and I'm going to go about it with integrity, you'll always win.
That's facts.
And that's advice in
That's a
itself.
fact. Yep,
Yeah.
that's facts. And this my final question. So for the person that's a man or a woman that's listening to this that was in the position you was in years ago, where you said you was working a job that you pretty much hated, you was staying at your brother's house in a closet in a similar position where they feel like they down and out. What's your best piece of advice for that person that want to get to a level that you on now? That's like, man, there's no way I could get there that soon.
Man, I think you just have to there's a couple things. I would say the first that came to my mind is read. I wish I would have read so many more books so much sooner. I didn't read early enough in life. But I think bigger than that is you got to take radical responsibility for your life. I was the one of those people who was waiting. I thought someone was going to save me. And I feel like there is this feeling that people have sometimes of, like, I'm a good person. It's going to all come together.
Yeah.
Maybe it might, but I'm sure that it will if you just decide. And I think for me, there was just this moment. I remember it clearly. I was on a plane. I was looking out the window. I feel like Jesus speaks to me when I'm flying. But I was like looking out the window, and I just remember being like, I'm done. Like, I'm done playing it small. I'm going to figure out why I'm here. Like, I just made a decision. And after I made that decision, I honored that decision. And I think, like, if you're in a position where you're still accepting what everyone else is giving you, decide if that's where you want to be for the rest of your life or if you want something different. And after you make that decision, commit to doing whatever it is to get you in a different position. And I think that was the biggest thing for me. Like, once I decided, I was like, okay, I need to get around more people who made that same decision as me. And I did everything I could. If I couldn't afford the conferences, then I did it virtually. I was online. If I couldn't do the virtual conferences, I was reading the books about people whose life inspired me. I just I was listening to Les Brown. I was listening to E.T. Like, my life completely changed. I was, like, immersing myself in people who were great because I knew that, like they always say, you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a cut. You hang around great people long enough, you're going to start believing in yourself.
Yep.
And so I don't know what it's going to take. It might be you reading the right book or you listening to the same thing every day until you really start to believe that you're in control of your life and whatever you want, you can have. You just got to do the work. And so I would say, like, mindset is everything. Change your mindset. You can change your life. Millionaire mindset.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
What we talking about? No, that was amazing. I just want to say before we wrap up that me and Deanna, we definitely greatly appreciate you coming on the show to do this.
I appreciate
we've been waiting to get this done, so to finally get it done, and this was really good. This is one of those.
You.
Yeah, this
It
is
was
great.
great.
No, this is great.
Honored. Thank
this is
you.
great. No, for real. I was lying to Shorty about the rapping. I ain't lying to you about that.
We don't believe
Yeah, we can't take their word on stuff.
We don't believe you, dog.
We gotta question everything he say now.
Before we let you go, do you mind plugging in all your stuff where people can find you, follow you, everything?
Yes. Instagram, Helpful Digital Marketer. By the time this drops, my website should be live. So you guys can find me at helpfuldigitalmarketing.com. And for anyone listening, Millionaire Mindset Podcast, sorry. If you use the code Millionaire Mindset, I'm going to hook y'all up. Y'all can get $100 off my Facebook ads starter kit. I don't know how long we're going to leave that up, but if you listen, Millionaire Mindset, you can get $100 off. Visit helpfuldigitalmarketing.com. And you just hit me up on Instagram. I'm on Twitter too, but Instagram is really where I give a lot of great free advice, on how you can make money. Right. So, yeah.
Okay. D, what's your info before we wrap up?
And you can find me on Instagram at Deanna Kent. Twitter, Deanna S. Kent, and YouTube, Lessons in Life and Luxury. And follow me on TikTok at Deanna Kent as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok.
And y'all can follow me on all platforms at Xavier C. Miller. That's Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everything. And you follow Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. And that's all we have for y'all on this episode of the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. See you guys next episode. Peace.
Gotta get your brain right if you're trying to make $1 million. If you ain't gonna do it for yourself, then do it for your mama. Only stay surrounded by them people if you know they solid. Elevate your hustle up today to double up your profit. Trying to learn some game, Xavier gonna talk about it. No Deanna, speak that shit that everybody vouching. Ain't no more excuses valid. Get up off the couch and get up in your bag. To your bank account, need an accountant.